Welcome, Mr. Onyema. Thank you very much for coming on 60 Minutes with me.
Thank you.
I know that you've read the famous 18-page letter. The Speaker of the House, Aminu Tambuwal, with his comments, then the former President of the country with his letter. So I want to take your initial reaction to all these events.
In 2003, the press went after Major General Buhari because Buhari criticized the idea being mooted by the Obasanjo regime then to use the 2003 ID card registration, whatever, for the coming elections of that year.
Yes.
So Buhari went against it and said, look, a lot of people, especially those from the north, may be disenfranchised if you use this system, because a lot of awareness have not been done.
Yes.
That was what the gentleman said.
Yes.
And the press went after him. Oh, Buhari is an ethnic jingoist. Buhari is a religious bigot. Buhari is is against the South. What we did was that I instructed my chairman all over the 36 states, let's go around. Let's find out exactly what this guy said and how he said it and why he said it.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, we came up with a verdict of not guilty in favor of Buhari. We went and held a world press conference financed solely by us to defend Buhari. We told the world that what the man was saying was that, look, enough awareness has not been created.
Yes.
Therefore, it will be unfair to use the ID card registration of that year to conduct an election that was just a few months away.
Yes.
So, whatever I'm going to say here today, I say it out of, sheer sense of patriotism, and that is the truth.
Yes.
What has been happening is a dangerous path we are treading, and is uncalled for, is absurd, is ungodly. Obasanjo's letter, when you take the entire gamut of that letter, when you go through it, what you could deduce from there is a calculated attempt to mislead this country.
Are you saying none of those allegations are true? Why are some Nigerians supporting Obasanjo, saying, forget the messenger, listen to the message? We
are not saying that at this point in time that all the allegations, but when you look at it, majority of whatever he was saying, were things he didn't even, or he did during his own time, or some of the things he was supposed to do during his own time, and he didn't even do them, and now he's accusing another person. But let's look at them one after the other and find out where the present president had erred for him to do that kind of criticism. But the question is, if you feel as a former president of this country that the incumbent president had done something wrong, the manner, the approach he took, was that approach constructive?
But he said he's written 4 or more letters previously and no acknowledgement whatsoever.
If he had written, you and I could deduce from the contents of what Obasanjo wrote to know who may be saying the truth or the other, or the reasons behind what he was writing. We are not saying that people should not speak up when I've spoken against this government in certain fora before. But criticisms must be constructive. I mean, it is absurd for a former president to toe the line and some of the things he said there. Because when you look at the letter, there were areas where the Nigerian public was being directly or inadvertently being incited. And when it happens, when people talk about Arab Spring, you are indirectly calling for the kind of revolution that has not even paid the Arab people any dividend. You are asking for people to pour onto the streets. You are asking people to pour onto the street because of that shouldn't come from a president of this country, a former president of this country. A former president who had ruled this country on 3 different occasions. He shouldn't. He talked about elections and party politics squabbles. During his own time, we had the worst kind of squabbles. At least, President Jonathan has not asked or sacked Sambo. In the history of democracy, Obasanjo's regime was the first time we saw a president going on television to sack his vice president, who was duly elected by the electorate. Jonathan had not done that, but he was complaining about. He was talking about squabbles and conflict within the party.
Yes, anti-party activities.
Anti-party activities. He was accusing the president of who foisted those anti-party activities. When you look at certain activities, like say the G5,
yes.
the G5 governors, Tambuwa and the rest, Tambuwa's disposition to the presidency is unprecedented. Okay,
let's look at one of the reasons that General Obasanjo gave. This ethnic, he says, the president is guilty of surrounding himself with aides who are not giving him the right advice. Could it be that some aides perhaps prevent this president from having any form of interaction with either the speaker, with either former President Obasanjo, in such a way that when they even send letters, the president doesn't see those letters or doesn't get to even know that certain things like that exist?
I have to say this. Definitely, there's something wrong somewhere. I'm not going to vouch for the president's cabinet.
Right.
I'm not going to vouch for them here. Because I think that cabinet also is not doing what they should be doing for the president.
They're not doing him any favor.
Yes, they're not doing him any favor. Not just on the issue of the different conflicts they're having. If his immediate kitchen cabinet is even doing their work, a lot of the things being said about Jonathan
shouldn't be out
there.
Yes.
Nobody is hearing all the goods the president of this country is doing. All you're hearing, nobody is perfect.
Yes.
All you are hearing is all the ones they trump up or the bad ones they must have done because they're not perfect.
Yes.
The kitchen cabinet is not doing enough. It could be true that preventing people from
reaching him,
it could not be true.
Yes.
But the one I can say is that the president of this country, President Goodluck Jonathan, does not have the press. Whether we like it or not, the press of this country, he does not have the press of this country. The press of this country is not on his side. And that is a minus for his kitchen cabinet. And people believe what they see, or what they read, or what they hear through the press.
Whether it's true or not.
And they believe it, they buy it wholeheartedly, and it becomes true in their mind. See, I've never seen a president that had been so insulted more than Jonathan. I've never seen. He has been called a kindergarten president. He has been called all manner of names. We should be wary. The president is the embodiment of the country. He is the image of the country.
Yes.
No matter whatever grievances or discontentment we may have in the polity, it is not enough to do certain things we are doing now. And the annoying thing is that most of these name calling, most of these unrestricted statements are coming from elder statesmen.
Yes.
Not even the youth. The youth of this country are not interested in all these things they are doing.
But I've heard many people say to me privately that they've never met a more humble man than this president, a man who really wants the best for Nigeria.
You see, I'll tell you this, Angela, what is happening to Goodluck Jonathan today, if anybody had tried 1/10 of it on Obasanjo, the person might not be here talking today. That is the truth.
Yes.
And some other presidents of this country. This is the only president. I don't care if we are accused of being partisan, but we must speak out the truth. This is the only president of Nigeria that has allowed the institutions to grow instead of being a powerful president.
Yes.
Nigerians are looking for a dictator. Nigerians are looking for a so-called powerful figure as president. No. And that is why the country has been going down the doldrums. The country has been going down undeveloped over the years because we believe in a single powerful person. While the institutions are weak. One man. President Jonathan has allowed people to talk.
Yes.
He has allowed the institutions to operate unhindered.
Yes.
A lot of people would want him to go to FCC, arrest this man, arrest that man, go to ICPC, arrest that man, hound that man. In the days before, some of these governors will not do what they're doing. The press is painting him as a weak president because he's not going out there hounding people into jails, arresting people.
Behaving like a military president.
Destroying your businesses and all that kind of thing. We are going to miss Jonathan when he goes and another dictator comes.
Do you think the president should respond to Obasanjo's letter?
To be honest with you, I don't think so.
Right.
You don't pay heed to stupidity. You don't pay heed to foolishness at times. You are the president of the country. This man at all times, if you look at him, he rarely responds to anything. He keeps on going, doing what he's doing. Have they ever talked about the good things this president has done? Whether you like it or not, the airports in this country used to look like poultry farm. Today, at least you have a semblance of what an airport should look like, even though we've not gotten there perfectly. Nobody's talking about that. Instead, they will remember that some corruption must have gone in. Yeah. Why didn't you do it in the last 35 years? They didn't do it. Obasanjo's regime spent billions on power, yet nothing happened. You remember the famous 300 billion on roads, and there were no roads during his time. The other day, somebody visited me from Enugu, left Enugu by 7 a.m. By 1 p.m. he was in Lagos. Nobody will tell you about what is happening on Nigerian roads now. You will not hear that. So this is our country. We are not here as a mouthpiece of the president. I've never met the president. I have nothing to do with this federal government, but the truth must be said at all times.